To quote the immortal Rodney Dangerfield, "It ain't easy being me." One time, my wife Karen and I went to the gym and decided we're going to go swimming. We went to the locker room to change into our swimsuits. Of course, different locker rooms. She went to the women's, I went to the men's locker room. And we both come out of the locker room on the other side into the pool, and Karen turns red. She puts her hand up and she's there. "Jeff, you didn't put your swimsuit on." Well, this was a symptom of attention deficit disorder. My wife says for me, it's attention deficit disorder, but for her, it's OCD. Like that. And we've seen children bouncing around the room with ADHD. And I did that. My parents used to say, "Don't worry, he'll grow out of it." Well, you know something? Out of my ADHD. Yeah, I did stop bouncing all over my place, all itself, but it reared itself in other ways. I could never stand taking classes. I hated listening to instructors. So it, I just, I just became the class clown. I would constantly heckle the teachers. It was to the point where I was encouraged by the teachers to cut class. They still made me turn my work in, but I could hang out in the lunchroom all day studying on my own. I only showed up for class when we had a test. This got me through high school. But when I graduated and went to college, I was a total failure. I couldn't sit down long enough to study. I self-medicated with weed and booze. My motto was, let's party first and then study. After my sophomore year, I took a semester break. Well, the semester turned into a year, then it turned into 5 years, and it turned into 10 years. In the long run, it was 30 years. And by that time, there was the internet. And you had online learning. In my late 40s, I went back to complete my degree online. It was perfect for me, asynchronous format. I could study in little chunks. I could do my work for a half hour and then play with my kitty cat and grab a soft drink. As a middle ager, I was also less drawn to the party scene. I had assignments to complete every week, discuss in groups to discuss the assignments. And I was wild with joy not having to listen to the instructors blab on. Online education was my solution. And then one fall evening, I had a heart attack. And I had to have two surgeries on my heart within a 48-hour period. They were minor stent type surgeries. But there's really no such thing as minor heart surgery. My concern is that I would have to take a leave of absence to recuperate. I don't want to happen to me where I was taking another 30 years off. And I remembered, I have ADHD. I can't focus anyway. So what I did, I was able to work in 15-minute sprints and then rest until I had the energy to go at it again. And my cat Pharaoh would be the whole target. I turned in everything on time and I got an A in the class. That was an aha moment. I found ways to be effective despite a lack of focus. In the years since, I developed systems that allow one to leverage their lack of focus, and I'm teaching out to others. Now, I could have looked at that difficulty as a curse, but instead I looked at it as a gift. It was a blessing. Had I not had that lack of focus for my own ADHD to energize myself, I wouldn't have found that stuff. So every condition can be either a blessing or a curse.